Okay, what if I told you most businesses, maybe even yours, are built on a 100-year-old idea that basically guarantees they'll fail? Seriously, it's a billion-dollar mistake and it's hiding in plain sight. Today, we're going to expose it.
So let's just get right into it. Is your business strategy actually over 100 years old? I know, it's a wild question, but for way too many startups and brands out there, the answer is a terrifying yes. They're running on a philosophy that's been totally obsolete for decades, and it is silently, absolutely killing their growth.
So, what is this huge, colossal mistake? Well, it's a really fundamental flaw in thinking, the kind of flaw that makes brilliant products fail and visionary companies just crumble. It's the secret reason why so many great ideas never, ever connect with the people they're supposed to help.
And here it is, the moment of truth. The billion-dollar mistake is focusing on what you make, not on what they, your customers, actually need. It's that simple but profound difference between being company-centric versus customer-centric. And I know it sounds almost too simple, right? But believe me, getting this backwards is just catastrophic.
Now, look, this mistake isn't just one bad idea. Oh no, it's a whole family of failing philosophies. So let's break down the three most common and most dangerous ways of thinking that businesses get trapped in. You can almost think of it as like an evolutionary ladder of really bad business ideas.
Okay, first up, we've got the production concept. This is that old-school, arrogant factory owner mentality, you know? If we build it cheap and make it available, they will come. The people in charge here are completely obsessed with high production efficiency, mass distribution. They just assume that all customers care about is availability and a low price. That's it.
All right, next on the ladder is the product concept. Now, this one's a little tricky because it feels like a step up, but honestly, it's just another trap. This is the classic obsessed engineer who's just fallen in love with their own product. They're constantly adding more features, tweaking the quality, thinking that a quote-unquote superior product is just going to win on its own. They get so wrapped up in their own creation, they completely forget to ask the most important question. Does anyone even need this?
And that brings us to the third one, the selling concept. This is what happens when a company finally realizes, hey, the first two things aren't working. So what's their solution? Just aggressive selling and promotion. Their whole goal is to sell what they make instead of making what the market wants. And this? It almost always leads to unhappy customers and what the source material so brilliantly calls bad mouth. You know, that negative word of mouth that spreads like wildfire?
Okay, so if those are all the paths to failure, where's the path to success, right? Well, it's time for the customer-first revolution. This is the big idea. The one that flips everything completely on its head. And this is the real secret to winning in today's market. It's called the marketing concept.
And this just shows the difference so perfectly. Just look at the flow. The old way, the selling concept, it starts at the factory with products you already have, and then you just try to push them on people. But the new way, the revolutionary marketing concept, it starts with the customer, with the target market and what they need. And then you build everything, the product, the promotion, the entire business around filling that need. The goal is no longer just profit through selling a ton of stuff, it's profit through genuine, real customer satisfaction. So, if there's one viral insight you need to burn into your brain from all this, what is it? It all boils down to this super simple but crazy powerful mantra: find wants and fill them. That's it. That is the entire game right there.
And this really hammers home the massive power shift we're talking about. The company, it's not the hero of the story anymore. The customer is. In this new world, you have to remember, the customer is the boss. Every single thing you do has to serve them, period. Okay, I get it. This all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? How do you figure out what the boss, your customer, truly wants? Well, this next part is your new playbook. It's a framework you can literally start using today. You see, the secret to really understanding your customers is you have to dig way deeper than what they just say out loud. It's not about asking them, hey, what do you want? No. See, there are actually 5 hidden levels of need. Let's break this down with a really simple example. Imagine a customer walks in and says, I want an inexpensive car. Okay, just look at this breakdown. The stated need, that's just the tip of the iceberg. An inexpensive car, simple enough. But the real need, what's really going on underneath, is they want a car with low maintenance costs. Then you've got the unstated need. This is the stuff they expect, but they don't even bother to say it, like good service and reliability.
Of course they want that. Now, a delighted need would be that little unexpected bonus. Like, imagine finding a free roadmap in the glove box. Cool, right? And finally, the big one, the secret need, that deep emotional driver. They want their friends to see them as a smart, savvy person. Now that's powerful, and if you can respond to all of these needs, that's how you create a customer for life.
So here's the bottom line. By understanding and serving all of these deeper needs, you're not just making people happy. No, you're creating what's called superior customer value. And that superior value is what drives your profitability. This isn't charity, folks. It's just the smartest, most effective way to build a wildly successful business.
But wait, it doesn't actually end there. As powerful as this whole concept is, the game is, well, it's changing again. There's a new warning sign on the horizon, a much more complex challenge that pretty much every business has to face now.
Because this brings up a really critical question. What happens when giving customers exactly what they want ends up creating bigger problems for everyone else? You know, things like environmental damage, resource shortages, that kind of stuff. This is where the next evolution in thinking, something called the societal concept, starts to come into play.
And so this is the big question I want to leave you with. Is it really enough to just give people what they want, even if it's not what the world or society as a whole truly needs? That right there is the absolute cutting edge of marketing philosophy today. And it's a challenge every single modern business has to grapple with. And you know what? We're going to dive deep into that next time.